Hello students, good evening. So we have another set of questions on the board and hope you had given the exam very well and you might have scored good marks. So this time also as usual we will discuss the questions and I'll be telling you where you might have gone wrong in case if you have got a little less mark this time and why those answers are correct and why the answers which you might have chosen is wrong. That also will be discussed in today's session. Okay. So let us start with the usual stuff, and that is, in these three sentences, in case if any part has got error, you have to find out the part which has got error. And if there is no error, of course, you have to choose the last option, that is no error. Okay. So let us focus on the first sentence. We hope devotees will participate in the event and get spiritually benefit. Okay. So let us read it once again. We hope devotees will participate in this event or in the event and get spiritually benefit. Of course, the first two parts, we hope devotees will participate in the event and there is nothing wrong. Okay, so the error is in the third part, that is get spiritually benefit. So the C part has got error. You can correct it in two ways. The simple way is and get spiritual benefit. So that spiritually should be changed to spiritual benefit, automatically the sentence will be correct. Or else there is another way also, like spiritually benefited, that also could be used. Okay, so anyways this part has got error and that is the third part. All right, now the second sentence is, we might supply so much evidence and try to explain it in so many ways. What is wrong in this sentence? Of course, there is something wrong. One of the parts had gone wrong. We might supply so much evidence. Remember, when we speak about countable nouns and uncountable nouns, a few terms are to be used before countables and other terms are to be, a few other terms are to be used before uncountable nouns. Okay. So, for example, like pen. How will you make the plural of pen? Pens, right? So, pen is countable. It's a countable noun. Like you can count pen, 1 pen, 2 pens, 3 pens, 100 pens. So, in that way, we can form the plural of this by adding s and you call it as countable noun because we can count it in terms of number like 1, 2, 3, 4 and indefinite number. And in the same way, like these are all countables. Okay, countable nouns, countables or countable nouns. But what about the word water? Or another word is love. Okay, so water, these are uncountable. Why? Because you have to use that measuring unit like 1 liter of water, but you cannot say I want 1 water, I want 2 waters. That cannot be used. Okay, so wherever we have nouns which cannot be counted in terms of numbers, you call it as uncountable nouns. And with uncountable nouns we use many, not like much. Okay, I want much water. All right, and then we have many pens in the box. Many pens in the box. Much water for uncountable. All right, so here much evidence. So it's not much evidence, it should be many evidences. So this part, this B part has got error, and how will you correct it? You have to correct it in, two words are to be corrected. We might supply so many evidences and try to explain it in so many ways. Okay, so evidence, evidences, and then many. All right, since it is countable. Now, there is something stored in for everyone. There is something stored in for everyone. There is no error. It's absolutely correct. So, there is no error. D part is to be chosen. Okay. So, these three sentences, the first two sentences had error. First sentence, C part has gone wrong. And how did you correct it? Spiritual benefit or spiritually benefited, in both the ways. Okay. And then second sentence also had error in the second part. Not much evidence but many evidences. All right, and the third one is no error. It's absolutely correct sentence. Now again we have like two more questions on the board, 2 more statements on the board, where like whatever is given in bracket, okay. So whatever is in bracket, in case if it requires any improvement, you can choose, or if any of the given options could be used to substitute the item given in the bracket, you have to choose that one. And in case if there is no such option which could be used instead of the item in the bracket, you have to choose the last option, no improvement, okay. And if any other option is matching, or you can substitute it, that could be chosen. All right. So the first one is, since 1975 there was no volcanic eruption. So what is given in the bracket? Was is given in the bracket, right? Since 1975 there was no volcanic eruption. See, such a type of sentence we have been discussing so many times, okay. Always remember, when we have point of time or period of time. Point of time means since, exact point of time, since 1975, since 2020, likewise point of time. Period of time, for many years, for 2 months, for 2 hours, for 3 days. So this is what you call duration of time. So be it point of time or duration of time, you cannot use simple present tense or past tense there. Instead, you have to use either present perfect, okay, present perfect or past perfect. All right. So here that is given as one of the options. So since 1975, that means it's still that level is still applicable, or else that particular point is still applicable. It's not yet over. So since means it's continuing. It has got a connection with the present state. So in that sense, you cannot use past tense. Instead, you have to use present perfect, and that is have been. So instead of was, you have to use have been. So how will you correct it? Since 1975 there have been no volcanic eruptions, okay. Now next sentence is, this painter is the most skilled of all other painters in our team. This painter is the most skilled, okay, skilled of all other painters in our team. Actually, we have 3 degrees of comparison, okay. So 3 degrees means like first positive degree, second is comparative, and third is superlative degree, okay. One example is tall, positive degree of comparison, okay. Then second is taller, that is comparative degree. Then third is tallest, superlative degree. So when we use superlative, it is not comparing. So here when we have most skilled, actually most is the much more most. So most is a superlative degree, third degree, okay. So this is positive degree, this is comparative degree, and this is superlative degree. So the superlative degree of much, then more, and third degree is most. So when you have superlative degree to be used in a sentence, that should show the overall thing in the class. Like I say that if I make a statement like this, he is the best in the class, he is the best student in the class, he is the best student. So he's not being compared to 1 or 2 students, but he is the best means superlative degree or ultimate, okay. So we are taking the whole class together to show that he is the best. So in the same way, when you use superlative degree, it's not that somebody is being compared to a group like this. So this is wrong. So what you have to do is, this painter is the most skilled painter in our team. Just like I said, this student is the best student in our class. So I am not comparing the student with 1 or 2 or with a small group. In fact, I just want to make an ultimate statement that he is the best. So in that sense, when I use the superlative degree, I have to show the entire class or the whole class as such. So I cannot compare him with 1 or 2 as such. So exactly same way, when you use most, you cannot use a small group like all other painters or a small group like that. Instead, you have to use he is the best or he is the most skilled painter in our team. That is the proper way to make this statement. So both these sentences have to be improved. So first is there have been, okay, and second is painter. The word painter must be used. All right. Now we have two fill in the blanks type of questions where options are given and you have to choose the words with which you can fill up the blank. Okay. Did dash help Ankita? See, automatically you will be confused between anybody and somebody. Of course, these two options cannot be taken, like some or no cannot be taken, because that won't make a sensible choice. Okay, so you might be confused between anybody and somebody. You know what, like anybody is actually the option. Why? Because this is what you call infinite, indefinite, not infinite, but indefinite pronoun. This is what you call indefinite pronoun. Okay, indefinite pronoun, and indefinite pronoun is used with interrogative sentences or questions, and also for negative sentences. Okay, so for negative sentences and for question like sentences or interrogative sentences, indefinite pronoun is used, and anybody is indefinite pronoun. So, did anybody help Ankita is the proper choice, not did somebody help. Did anybody? Why? Because this is indefinite pronoun and that must be used for question like sentences and negative sentences. Okay. Now, next is one must be attentive to dash work. The same thing is like applicable in this group, or we have been given four choices or four options, and you have to use an indefinite pronoun. Okay, because here one means indefinite, we don't know for sure, like it's not any name given. It's not like he must be attentive or she must be or they must be. So like suppose if it is he or she or they or you could have chosen their or your. Suppose here it is they must be attentive. Okay, so they, if it is they, you should have chosen their. If it is you here, you should have chosen your. If it is he, you could have chosen himself. So one is given indefinite. This is also indefinite pronoun. So you have to choose this one, one's work. One must be attentive to one's work. Okay. Next is you have to find out the synonym for the given words. All right. So first word is, I'll just underline it so that you will find it easy to locate the word. It will be visible. Blaze. I guess you might have got this answer correct. Why? Because it's a term which we use in our everyday life. Blaze means to blazing sun, glowing, burning. Okay. So it's not anything calm or numbness or unconscious, but something which glitter, something which glow, which burn. So that is blaze, just like we use that term blazing sun. Okay, so blaze is to glow. So we are asked to find out a word which means the same or synonym. So the synonym for blaze from these options, that is glow. Okay, now agony. Agony means when you suffer, when you are in pain, you are in misery, you are in trouble. When somebody tortures you, you have that miserable feeling and you call it as agony. Okay, so it has got nothing to do with success, happiness or soundness, but it has got everything to do with torture. So when you have pain, you have physical or mental problem, you can use that term agony. So here torturing also is inflicting pain, right? So agony, one of the synonyms which we could use is torture. Pain, misery, all these things also could be used as synonyms, but since we are not given those options, so from the given options you can choose torture. So blaze is to glow and agony is like torturing. Okay. Now you have to find out the opposite of these two words, dismantle and hold. Very simple word. Dismantle. What is dismantle? Like when you have a structure, like when we order something online, and if it is a huge thing like a furniture or something like that, we get it in dismantle position, and then once we get it, we assemble it. Okay, so dismantle actually is to destroy. Okay, so dismantle literal sense is to destroy something. So obviously to destroy, the opposite is to build. So the opposite of the word dismantle is build. What about the other words? Tear down, disassemble, all these are the synonyms given for dismantle. The one which is opposite to destroying something, dismantle means to destroy something, and the opposite of that will be to build something. Okay. Now hold. Hold means you hold something in your clutch. So clutch is actually synonym. Clasp also is almost like clutch, bind. So clutch, clasp and bind could be taken as the synonyms for the word hold. You hold something tight in your fist. Okay, like right now I'm holding this pen. So I'm holding this in my fist, or I'm clutching this like, or this is in my clasp, or else like bind. So these are all words which could be taken as the synonym for hold, and the opposite to hold is to release. To hold and to release is the opposite. Okay. Now we have been given a few idioms. Again, let me underline these idioms so that it will be clearly visible. And unfortunately enough, these idioms are not given in the form of examples or sentences. So definitely it's up to you, that it's up to your luck that if you have scored good marks for this. Okay. Catch on, make up one's mind. Make up one's mind is quite easy because we use that in our everyday life. Bank on something. Lent one's ear also is almost like make up one's mind. Okay. So first is catch on. Catch on is actually when you do something, you become famous. You use that term, that idiom. See, do not confuse this with any phrasal verb. We are talking about idiom. Catch on as an idiom. Okay, so you know what, like idioms, you cannot always, not always, sometimes only with the help of a few hints in the words you can assume or you can guess out the meaning, but not always. Like for example, catch on, you cannot take the literal sense of this particular term. Okay, catch on, rejuvenating, secret affair, to lose or to become popular. To become famous is to become popular. So to catch on is to become famous or to become popular. See, it has got nothing to do with catch or on. So you cannot determine the meaning of an idiom with the help of the words printed. Okay. Now make up one's mind. Like you make a choice, you decide something, you decide, you take a decision. That is what you call, I have made up my mind to join medicine. That means I have taken the decision to join medicine course. Okay. So to make up one's mind or make up one's mind is to decide something, to reach a decision or to take a decision. Okay. Then bank on something. Okay. Bank on something means you depend on something or to rely on something. You rely or you become dependent on something. Okay. So to rely on something. Here it is to be independent, that is opposite. Not to do, like bank has got nothing to do with the real bank affairs or bank transactions. It has got nothing to do with transaction in a bank, or to be independent is just the opposite. It actually is to dependent on something, not to clear out something, but to rely upon something. Okay. To have faith upon something. Now, lend one's ear. That means at the time of speech and all, like sometimes it is said that to the audience, the speaker makes an announcement or speaker makes a request to the audience that kindly lend your ears. That means listen to me carefully. Okay. When you listen to something with that much attention, or when you listen to something very carefully, that means you have lent your ear. So to lend one's ear means to listen to something very closely or very attentively, which is given as one of the options. Okay. So catch on means to become famous or to become popular. To make up one's mind is to decide something or to take a decision. Bank on something is to rely on something, and lend one's ears means to listen to something very attentively. Okay. Now, these three questions where we have given different words and only one word in each option for each question is correctly spelled, and you have to choose that. That means in 16th question, 4 words are given, but only one word has got its correct spelling. The rest is wrong. So you have to choose the one with correct spelling. Okay, like consumerism is there, communalism is there. Actually, communalism is here wrong spelling, so this is not the right answer. So the correct word, or the word with the correct spelling, is consumerism. This is correct spelling. And what is wrong here? How will you correct it? Communalism with NALISM. Okay. And here what is wrong? Pessimism is with PE, pessimism. And then optimism is with OPTI. Okay. So consumerism, this A option is the word with the correct spelling. Now 17th one, we have commencement, to start something, then establishment, announcement, commitment. Okay, so even if you know which words are meant, but still like only one word has got the correct spelling, and that is again the first word, commencement. Commencement here has got the correct spelling. Otherwise the other words like establishment with BLIS, not ES. Okay, announcement with C. After C there is one E which is missing in the spelling, so that is wrong. Then commitment does not have double T, double M is there but only single T. Okay, so the correct spelling, or the word with the correct spelling, is the first one, commencement. That is your answer. Other 3 words have gone wrong, and I told you what is the correct spelling of those 3 words. Okay, now 18th one, entrepreneurship is there, leadership is there, scholarship is there, partnership is there. So again we've got option number A, which has got the correct spelling. Entrepreneurship is exactly with the same spelling. Leadership, what is missing there? Leadership, there is an R after E, without which the spelling is wrong. Then scholarship is actually not ER but AR. Okay, partnership is not AR partner but ER partner. Okay, so first word, entrepreneurship, is the correct one. That means with the correct spelling. The rest have gone wrong. Leadership with R, which was missing. And scholarship, not scholarship but scholar, A. And here partnership, ER. Okay. Now give one word for the following statements. Okay, so you have to give the one word. First one is giving of special favor to one's kith and kin. What is kith and kin? One's close one, relatives. Okay, like suppose if you favor somebody from your family, or else like people who favor their own blood relationship or near ones or close relatives, what do you call that particular activity? Is it favoritism? You might get confused between the terms like favoritism. Favoritism is actually you being partial maybe to a person, to a friend, not your family member but to anyone, or to a group. Okay, it might be towards a group, it might be towards a thing, or like it's almost like showing partiality. So partiality in general is what you call favoritism, but we want a word which means giving special favor to one's kith and kin, means relatives. For that we cannot use the term favoritism. Okay, and here nepotism is the exact word. Nepotism is exactly like you favor your own blood or your own relationships or close relatives of yours. That's what you call nepotism. And what is solecism? Solecism means like when you speak or when you write language, when you use language in speech and writing, and if you commit any grammatical mistakes or if you commit any grammatical errors, blunders, you call it as solecism. Okay. And then what is pantheism? Pantheism is actually almost like a belief in God. Like if you believe that whatever happens in the world is the manifestation of God, that belief is what you call pantheism. It's a theory. Okay. So pantheism, solecism, nothing to do with this. Then favoritism is you be partial towards the group, or partiality in general is what you call favoritism, but to show concern towards one's kith and kin or relatives, you have a specific term, and that is nepotism. Okay. Then the one who collects and studies coins, study of coins, okay, or else the people who collect, you have the hobby of collecting stamps and coins, okay. So that is numismatist, or numismatist is the person who collects and studies all about coins, okay. And what about philatelist? Philatelist is the one who studies and collects stamps, okay. The nuncio, nuncio is actually a messenger or a mediator. Then bibliophile is actually, if you love books, if you have a desire to read books and you love books, you have a good collection of books, you call that person as bibliophile. Okay, so numismatist is the exact word, which means a person who collects and studies all about coins. Okay, now we have a descriptive, not descriptive but factual passage. Okay, a factual kind of passage, semi-factual, semi-descriptive, and the font size is small, but see, it's a lengthy passage, and you know what, like for such a lengthy passage, you have to read, especially the passage which have been given this time. It was a little, not tough, but you should read, or you should have read 2 or 3 times this passage to get the answers. Okay, of course hints are there to get the answer, but to reach to that hint or those hints, you have to read it at least 2 times, and that should be very slow and careful reading of the passage. Okay, so such passages could be expected for the exam. Now it's all about like how, what do you call, yeah, blogging, travel blogging, whether it is useful or not, that is the main concept. Okay, so based on this passage, the first question is, according to the passage, which of the following statements is not true? Okay, so you have been given 4 statements, and 3 statements are based on the passage and 1 is not based on passage, and that is the one you have to choose as the answer. Okay, author never has and never will give on itinerary in his or her blog. See, I never have and never will give you a 3-day itinerary to do. That means the first statement is already there in the passage, so that is not our answer. Then Istria is full of cobblestone streets. Okay, so walking on those cobblestone streets in Istria. That means that also is a statement given the passage, so that also is not our answer. Day trippers are often intruding. That also is given. Since it is a, what do you call, a very like a small font size, it's hard to locate. Exact locations of tourists I haven't done all the time. Day trippers, the old who seem to be intruding. See, they were intruding into someone's sleepy or privacy. So that means that also, day trippers, they are intruding, that also is given. So what is left out? D option. Travel blogging always ruins offbeat, not always. So that D option is not true or not taken from the passage. No, it's contradictory to the passage. Okay. Now, what is next question is, what is a dilemma that the author has dwelt on for a long time? Or what is this whole passage all about? Whether to write about offbeat places on the travel blog or not, or what exactly is the travel blogger's responsibility, how to inspire the readers to experience travel differently, or how to save readers from no. Actually, this is the B option. What exactly is a travel blogger? So, what should a travel blogger do? That is what that dilemma is been given or discussed towards the end. The dilemma means that confusion. The exact responsibility of a travel blogger, it seems the speaker has got some confusion about that, and that's given towards the end of this passage. Okay, so that is the option. Now, What hampered the old world, or what spoiled the old world charm? Old world charm has been spoiled by something, and what exactly is that? Is it new cafes, restaurants and nightlife, or drinking of the day trippers, or intrusion by the tourists, but insensitivity of the day trippers? They are insensitive towards the tourists, and that is also, all these things are actually except the first one, other things are included in this point. So, insensitivity of the day tripper is actually something which has spoiled the charm of the village as per the things given in the passage. Okay. Now, what do you think author wants to imply by I slept past the chirping of birds? What do you mean by this statement? I slept past the chirping of birds. Chirping of birds means a time of morning, okay, morning time or early morning when the birds start chirping. That means if you wake up after the chirping sounds of birds are heard, okay, that means it's the exact meaning of the statement. That means I woke up a bit late. That means like I could not hear any chirping sound of the bird when I woke up. That means I slept past means I woke up quite late, after that only. Okay. So, which option is closer to this meaning? Birds were chirping on his or her head? No. He or she left the bird chirping because he sure wanted to sleep? No. He or she slept past the early morning time when birds chirp. Exactly, this is a statement. Whoever is the speaker has slept even after the time when birds produce that chirping sound. Okay. Now, next is, which of the following is not an example of carelessness of the day trippers? Okay. Is it driving carelessly on the street? That is the carelessness we are asked about, which is not an example of carelessness. Okay. So, driving carelessly on the street, that is mentioned in the passage. Drinking and misbehaving also is mentioned in the passage. Luring or attracting local people with their money, then clicking photos with, so this particular point is not given in the passage. Again, it is contradictory to the passage. Okay. Now, in the following questions, some parts of the sentences may have error. We have done this same type of question. You have to find out the part if it has got error. There is no error. The last option, no error. Okay. I'm vexed at him for what all he has done for him till date. I'm vexed at him for what all things or what all he has done for him till date. So, the trouble is with the first part, A part, with this part. Okay, I'm vexed at him. So, with the word vexed, we do not use the preposition at but with. So, this is to be corrected with the help of the word with. Okay, so if it is I'm vexed with him, automatically this sentence will be correct. So, I'm vexed, not at is used but with. Okay, the next statement is, the manager warned his team members that if they persist in their obstructionist attitude, they would be punished. So, remember the statement started with the past tense. So, the error is in B part. The error is in B part, and what is the error? This word should be in past tense, persisted. Okay. So, the manager warned his team members that if they persisted in their obstructionist attitude, they would be punished. Okay. So, both these sentences had errors. Here, instead of at, use with, and here instead of persist, use persisted to correct these two sentences. Okay. Now, next is 28th and 29th questions. You have to find out a word or words with which you can fill up the blanks. Okay. Both taciturn and dash, comma, Daniel seldom spoke and never spent money. Okay. So, taciturn is the one who is quite introvert, reserved. Then taciturn and dash, the clue is given. What is the last part of the sentence says that he never spends money. So, that you have to find a word which means the last part of the sentence. So, both taciturn and miserly, the one who is reluctant to spend money. So, miserly, Daniel seldom spoke and never spent money. Okay. So that means the clue was already given in the sentence itself. Okay. Now next is he was too dash to make a statement before the boss. Like if a person is a bit afraid and cannot open up in front of the authority, what do you call that person? Okay. So he was not being too shy. Okay, but not tired or covered, but timid. Timid is the exact word. Covered means like a basic nature that he will be afraid of anything and everything. Okay, but here we speak about like he is not so comfortable to open up or speak in front of or make any statement of his authorities, particularly in front of his authority. So timid is the exact word, not covered. Okay. Now you have to find out similar in meaning or synonyms for the underlined words. I'll just underline it. Reiterate and nincompoop. So like reiterate means suppose if you do something again, if you repeat something, you call it as reiterate. Not abuse or pretend or detest or anything else, but to repeat. Okay, so reiterate means re is the clue. Re means something again. Okay, and nincompoop is actually a person who is moron, dull, not so smart, not so wise, you call him nincompoop, or in short, he will be a fool. Okay, so not so wise, not so wise. So wise cannot be taken. Companion, nothing to do with this word. Lover, no, of course. So a person who is fool, not wise could be called nincompoop. Okay. Now find out the opposites for the words pellucid and adamant. Pellucid. Pellucid means something which is not very clear but translucently clear. Translucent. That means not transparent but not opaque. A kind of middle course. Okay, so that means since you're science students, you know what translucent is. So something which is not that clear is translucent. So translucently clear is what you call pellucid. So opposite of that is not. Torpid actually is a person who is mentally or physically inactive is called torpid. Then explicit is to elaborate or explain something with clarity. Then murky is there, limpid is there. Limpid means very clear. So this is partially clear, right? So very clear cannot be taken as the opposite. So murky means something very dull, gloomy, and not at all what you call pellucid or not at all clear. So murky is the exact opposite for the word pellucid. Now adamant is a person who is very stubborn. The one who will be stubborn enough to do things in his own way will never be flexible towards things. Okay, so the opposite of flexible. So adamant, someone who is very rigid and unshakable, these are synonyms. So opposite is flexible. So adamant means stubborn and the opposite of that will be flexible. Okay. Now again we have been given two idioms and you have to find out the meaning of like from the given options. Okay, to rankle over an ass's shadow, is it to rankle over an ass's shadow means like you engage yourself in silly arguments, or in short you argue over silly matters, something which is very trivial. Okay, so not to waste money, it's not wastage of money as such, not to punish a person but to quarrel or to have argument over small or trivial things, silly things. So to quarrel over trifles means to you argue or you engage in argument over such silly matters. Okay. Then make one's flesh creep. To make one's flesh creep is to frighten somebody, not to confuse or to flatter or to abuse, but to frighten. When you scare someone, it is almost like you have made his flesh creep. So when you scare or when you frighten someone, you can use this idiom. Okay. Now, see, in these two sentences, something has been given in bold letters and you have to substitute it with the options given. One of the options could be chosen, and if there is no requirement for any substitution, you can choose no improvement. Okay. Father would have been appreciated. So, would have been appreciated your efforts if you had informed him. So, this makes no sense at all. Would have been means father would have been, or somebody should appreciate him. But here the sentence means he will appreciate your efforts. So, would have been appreciated, that is wrong. So, instead what should be the change? Like the trouble is with this word and that been. So, what is the correct option? You have to substitute the whole thing with would have appreciated. Okay. Father would have appreciated your efforts if you had informed him. Okay. Next is Neha was surprised by her result. So, surprised by is wrong usage. Instead, surprised at something. So, when you have something which surprises a person, surprised, I am surprised at your foolishness. Not I am surprised by your foolishness, at your foolishness. So, surprised at is to be used, not by. Okay. Now, again find out the one words. What do you call the study of tumors? I guess you are familiar with this term. You might have studied that in science, biology particularly. Oncology. Oncology is the word which means the study of tumors or cancers. Okay. What is enology? Enology is actually when you study about wines, wine, the drinking wines. That is enology, not tumors. Phrenology, what is phrenology? Like it's a branch of study or a kind of scientific belief that the shape and structure of a person's head would determine his character. Actually, this study is no longer being pursued by people. It's something connected as taken as absurd, but it actually is a belief, or it's a kind of theory according to which the structure and the shape of a person's head would determine his character. That is the term phrenology. Then if actually this is urology, it should be taken as urology. Urology means all those things in connection with the urine or urinary things, and you study about it. It's a branch of science. Okay, so the study of tumors actually is oncology. Then the highest point, reach the peak or the highest point. What do you call that? It's not tempest or outpost or achieve, but zenith. Zenith of success, peak of success, the highest point of success, zenith. So, study of tumors, oncology, highest point where you reach, especially success or tip, zenith. Okay. Now, you have to find out like incorrectly spelt word. That means in these sets of words, like the first one, 4 words are given where one word is with wrong spelling. Earlier, you were asked to find out the one with correct spelling, but this time you have to find out the one with wrong spelling. That means out of 4, only one word will have wrong spelling and the rest will have the correct spelling. Okay. Literary, correct spelling. Leakage is with wrong spelling. This is your answer. How will you correct it? Leakage with without E. Leakage, that E is additional. That's why it's incorrect. Okay. Laudable, loafer, all these have correct spelling. Okay. Now, next is anesthetic, obliterate, concurrence, blithesome. Which spelling has gone wrong? First one, anesthetic, has gone wrong. Here, one E is required. A-N-A-E-S. So, this is the option where we have a word with wrong spelling. Here leakage and here anesthetic. Okay. Now, okay, we have been given a kind of passage, like your sentences, some 4 sentences are given, but in jumbled way. You have to arrange it in the proper order. Okay, and which arrangement, like P, Q, you have been given labeling for these sentences, and you have to find out which of the following arrangement is the exact order in which these sentences should appear. Okay, so yet making, so we cannot start with P, we cannot start with P. Q, segmenting the industry might be worthwhile if it allows, so you can start with Q. So Q, we started with Q, only one option is with the Q that we started. So QRPS, segmenting the industry might be worthwhile if it allows more of the poor to get access to credit. QR, multinational corporations could take the top microfinance institutions to, that is also correct in the proper place. Then P, yet making, and then properties. This is the exact order. QRPS is the exact order. Other orders are wrong. Okay, one more of the same type, but the scenario, you cannot start with P. Okay, so you cannot start with P. Then in the last 10 years, you cannot start with Q as well. So these two options can be taken off. What about R, India? So we can start with R. So whatever has started with R, you can take that as the option. India earlier days gave more importance to the development of industry and less importance to other departments than P, but the scenario has quite changed. So this is the correct order, RPSQ. So first is QRPS and here RPSQ is the correct order of sentences. Okay. Now, in the following question, a sentence has been given in active or passive voice. So we have active and passive structure for almost all the exams that we have active and passive. Okay. So in this sentence also, like let us find out the sentence. One should keep one's word. This is active voice construction and you have to find out the passive voice of this. Okay. So actually, one should keep one's word. Here, this one means a vague subject. We are not sure about the subject. Suppose he should keep his word is the question. He should keep his word. And how will you make this into passive voice construction? His word should be kept by him. His word, that means you have swapped the position of subject and object. His word should be, you did not change the tense, also you cannot change the tense, should be kept by him. Why? Because we have a specific subject. But in the case of this subject, you do not know who exactly. So we do not have any, what do you call, specific subject. So we do not have to add by one or by us, by him at the end. We cannot add that. So how will you like make it passive? A word, okay, a word should be kept. Not one's word should be kept, but a word given by anyone should be kept. So the first option is the correct one. Not a word should be keeping. Of course, should be and keeping does not go together. Then one's word has to be kept means you have changed the tense and you are not permitted to change the tense. So, and one's word should be kept by us. That's not given by in the sentence. So, the first option is the correct one. A word should be kept. Okay. So, be careful when you get such type of sentences where we do not have any specific, because according to the rules of changing active into passive, the position of subject and object should be swapped, right? And here we do not have any specific subject. That is the problem. Now we have a statement which is in direct speech and you have to change that into indirect speech or find out the option which is the exact change of this to reported or indirect speech. So what is the statement or what is the sentence? The old man said, Thanks, I shall never forget this kindness, Ankit. So the old man thanked whom? Ankit. And he also gives a word of surety that I shall never forget this kindness. I shall never forget your kindness. Okay. So that is the type of sentence that you have to convert. Now, the first option, the old man, it's not applauding or giving compliment to someone, but thanking someone. So this cannot be taken. And the next option is, the old man thanked Ankit. Of course, this is what we have in the form of this word thank you or thanks. The old man thanked Ankit, of course Ankit, and assured him or gives him a word that he would never forget his kindness. So this is the option. Okay. Ankit was being thanked by, this actually is not a passive active passive voice but direct indirect speech, so this cannot be taken. The old man said thank you to Ankit for his kindness. That also is not indirect speech. So this is the exact one. The old man thanked Ankit and assured him. He says that I shall never forget means it's a kind of assurance that you give or that he has given. So, and assured him that he would never forget his kindness. Okay. Now we have a passage where a few words are missing and you need to find out the words, or you have to get words from the options with which you can fill this up, or you can insert words so that it would become a meaningful passage. Simple one. It's all about national integration stuff. National integration means dash all people, that means bringing or what do you call, combining. So combining, you can write it over here, combining all the people of the nation into a single whole. It is dash that bent, what brings these people together, a kind of a sentiment of being one, right? So it's a sentiment, it's a sentimental feeling of one being the citizens of one nation, the sentiment. So it is a kind of sentiment that bind or bring together all people in one what? In one dash bond. What bond? Not real or nominal or similar, but common. Common. In one common bond, no matter what their religion is, what their caste is, language or history may be. Okay. It is a dash cementing, a very strong cementing force, not weakening, natural, but strong. It is a strong cementing force whereby all kinds of people live. How do they live? Together. Live together. It was quite simple. So now let us read the passage once again. National integration means combining all the people of the nation into a single whole. It's a sentiment that binds together all people in one common bond, no matter what the religion, caste, language or history may be. It is a strong cementing force whereby all kinds of, whereby there is a hyphen, whereby all kinds of people live together. Okay, so what are the options? Combining, sentiment, common, strong, together. It was quite simple, so I guess you might have got full marks for this particular passage, 46 to 50 full marks. Okay. So anyways, with that we come to the end of the session. So today's paper discussion is over, and very soon we will meet again after your next exam. So be careful about the grammatical part. Okay. So study in between, more grammar and more idioms and all. So take care also. See you soon. Thank you so much. Thank you.